Hey there, Internet. Welcome to the Hard On Gear channel, where I discuss and review my used and abused knives and gear. Hard On Gear channel here with a 2023 EDC update for you. So I'm going to go over what I would typically be carrying on my person pretty much this whole last year. This will vary a little bit, and the last several months I've been doing a Knife of the Week weekly series, which is kind of forcing me to switch my EDC up a little bit and experiment with new things. However, the basic concept and idea behind what I carry and why I carry it pretty much stays the same, so I'm just going to go over that with you. Then I'm going to show you a few of the other things that I'll typically carry on my person, just to give you sort of an idea of like what else I'm typically rocking around in my pockets for whatever kind of weird situation I might run into, taking suggestions from my previous EDC videos from like a year or two ago. So you will see some different suggestions from stuff that you guys have brought up there, working itself into my EDC a little bit more. Before I started this channel up a couple years ago, that I was not a big like all-around EDC guy. Bit of a knife nerd, and I would carry a few odd things on me, but the EDC community was definitely something I was not like considered myself to be a part of, we'll say. But without further rambling from my normal rambly self, I'm going to give you a quick overview of the knives you see on the table here, as this is a very good representation of the ideal EDC I would typically carry on me as far as the knives and EDC tools. And before I do that, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button and subscribing and all that other stuff, if you feel like it, that would be very much appreciated. And it will help you get more of this kind of content into your YouTube feed. So isn't that cool how algorithms work? You like stuff that you like, and it gives you more of it. So do that if you feel the need. The Tor Anaconda is probably my absolute favorite piece of singular equipment that I own of any type whatsoever. I just love this beautiful, hard use, abusable piece of steel with a little bit of G10 wrapped around the outside of the handle. So S35VN steel. Tor is a veteran-owned company from San Diego, United States. I'm pretty sure like most veteran-owned companies from San Diego. But this is a couple of brothers who put together a sweet little knife company, mostly these kind of tactical blades, a few nice field blades. The Field 2.0 is a knife that I'd definitely love to grab if I'm going to grab another Tor knife of theirs. Actually, I'm going to have a different Tor knife similar to this to show you guys very soon that a buddy of mine picked up. So look forward to that in the very near future, maybe next week. But this Anaconda normally sits in this Tor Anaconda sheath on my left side. That's my dominant hand, inside of my waistband, just kind of hanging out in case I were to ever need it for something. I've got this in sort of a concealed carry position, if you want to call that, but if I'm ever out in like some situation where I'm going to deal with law enforcement, I make sure it's visible and available, because I'm not looking to illegally conceal a knife. It's honestly there as like a backup tool and a multi-purpose knife for all kinds of stuff. Extremely tough, durable, convex edge. You can see this thing's definitely got some wear and tear. I'm a big fan of this knife and I love to use it, but if it ever come down to like a last ditch sort of attack against a wild animal or whatever, and I had to reach for something in my vicinity to defend my life with, this would probably be a pretty damn good choice. I'd pretty much just index anywheres off of this sheath or handle with my index finger, right, and roll it up to that ring, grip and rip, and then go to work with whatever I'm looking to do with it. And I played around with other carry options, the Samurai carry, the lanyard tethered static line, or whatever you want to call it. All kinds of different names for it, but Too Long of Ronin Tactics has some videos where I kind of noticed him talking about this, and it definitely caught my attention. So big fan of that Samurai carry as well for certain situations, but I'm really digging having this consistently, reliably in that left position. Even when I'm in sweats or shorts, I can throw that on with the old clip, and it's super transferable and just on me in the same exact position all the time, which I'm a big fan of. Especially now that I'm switching around my other EDC items a lot, I love having a consistent first go-to option or last-ditch effort option for whatever super crazy, weird, unlikely emergency situation might come up. Being able to drill something and have it reliably there every time is going to be, could be the deciding factor in a really stressful life or death situation. So that's there for whatever it's there for. Love it. Probably going to have it there for a very long time. Next is the main folder, which is normally something along the lines of a Mannix 2 or a nice mid-size to kind of larger cold steel. Something like this SR1 Lite, which I think I'm going to have in the pocket for this next week. That's about the biggest end of what you're going to see me carry as far as like an EDC folder. And the Spyderco Paramilitary 2 is the smallest you'll see me go. So largest folder you'll see me put in my pocket, smallest folder you'll see me put in my pocket, at least as far as like a regular EDC folder. I don't really like rolling with something less than that. if I'm going to be in shorts, going to the gym or going for a run or something, I still like to have some kind of a folder on me. Sometimes the fixed blades can even get annoying for that, but I will carry the Tor Anaconda on me most times. But this nice little Delica 4, which I got off a trade, is absolutely my favorite thing to carry in more of an athletic style wardrobe. I'll throw the Paramilitary 2 in there as well. Same deal. It's pretty slick, doesn't really get noticed by anyone, including myself, when I'm wearing it squatting or anything. But I do feel the ridges and the profile of this a little bit more, whereas the Delica just absolutely disappears. Typically, I'm not carrying more than one folder on me. Now, when I go back to civvy life and I start wearing my 511 tactical pants again, now those are pretty much like your cliche vanilla tactical nerd tactical pants, but they're pretty affordable, and my work paid for them before, so I've got them, and they've got a lot of cool little pockets on them, so I typically will carry a backup folder in one of those cargo pockets, or at least one of the sub pockets of the cargo pockets. So yeah, folders. More than likely though, something like the Manix 2. The Manix 2 and now the Manix 2 Lightweight, which I got off another trade, is my favorite folder that I've currently got right now. This is as good as it gets. It's got such a nice blade for doing all kinds of different tasks. You could pretty much do everything other than probably skinning well with this, because you would definitely be puncturing some stuff if you weren't careful. Not to say you couldn't, but the forward curvature of the blade, plus that point, But for everything else, I'm pretty damn comfortable and confident in the abilities of the Manix 2. The ball bearing lock, much stronger than the Axis lock from Benchmade. There's videos about that, and I've got a video about the Manix 2 versus the Benchmade 940-2 if you want to check that one out. While I know there are some people who don't like Spyderco out there, I feel like this would be a knife that even you Spyderco haters could probably get used to, or at least appreciate the benefits of. By the way, I know Dr. Stephen Greer has been around for a long time, but has anyone listened to the recent Sean Ryan episode with him? Because this whole Golden Colorado USA Earth thing is a lot less funny when you hear some of the stories about that. So Sean Ryan episode number 48, I think. Probably check that out. Maybe check out the one they did with Dallas Alexander too, as that's pretty important and relevant. But yeah, and the lawyer who dealt with the whole Sean Ryan, Dallas Alexander thing. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that too much. Just saying there's some good content out there that you should check out on your own time and form your own opinions about. But anyways, yeah, cool. Aliens are cool too. And Golden Colorado USA Earth is where most of these cool Spydercos are made. So, all right, so now we go over to the Leatherman Signal, which is my go-to multi-tool. I've got my Pioneer X Victorinox Swiss Army knife somewhere. It's buried in the bottom of my knife bag. Don't really feel like digging it out right now, but you guys know what a Swiss Army knife looks like. The Leatherman Squirt's been working its way in my pocket the last couple of weeks. This is the original multi-tool I kind of had in my pocket when I started the channel. Didn't like carrying big Leathermans around. Had kind of worked myself out of it, lost a few of them, ended up just trying this as a good compromise. There is a time though when you need something a little bit more capable, and the different tools that are available on the Leatherman Signal, like the pliers, obviously full-size pliers, wire cutters that are replaceable, as you can see there by the little torque screw, and you know, the whistle and ferro rod. Sorry for the snap, that was probably loud as heck. Diamond sharpener on that side, and of course the normal tools. You got your screwdriver, can opener, and yeah, whatever the heck that is. Some kind of a punch. Not super good with all those things. And the 21-in-1, all the surges and rebars and all those more capable multi-tools have way more stuff on it, but this is a little bit better for like outdoorsy stuff. I don't know if you really need the whistle and ferro rod and sharpener on it, but it is nice to have those redundancies. And it is a little bit lighter and a little bit smaller, and it's got that carabiner and pocket clip. So yeah, I like the Signal quite a bit. I'm gonna try the rebar out next though. I think it's pretty affordable and a pretty good baseline Leatherman. Okay, SE Azula 2, my baby. One of the best EDC fixed blades you're ever gonna freaking find, if not the very best EDC fixed blade you could ever find. I don't know, just my opinion, and a lot of other people's actually. Just gave one of these bad boys away here this last weekend, so yeah, congrats again to the winner of that for winning this Azula 2. Not this Azula 2, but you know, that Azula 2 in the picture there with the survival kit and the stickers and all that good swag. So congrats. Placement of these knives. Obviously, I should have said left-hand pocket for the left-hand pocket clip Manix 2 that you see here. This is typically going to go in my back left pocket, in my on the left kind of outside butt cheek of my pants. So I'm not really sitting on it, but it's there and available. I've never had this fall out that I can really think of. Maybe once or yeah, not that I could think of at all, actually. It's got a pretty good clip there, and maybe if it got a little bit loose, I could just take another set of pliers and pinch that down a little bit. But pretty solid and very available in the pocket and not really noticeable like a big clunky Leatherman nylon sheath on my hip, which I'm really not a big fan of. I've done it for a bit when I was rocking the Leatherman mutt when I was during my like basic infantry and basic military courses. super handy and a little bit more stuff on your person anyways, that Leatherman on your hip's not a big deal. In jeans, just doing regular stuff, I'd rather slip that into my pocket with a pocket clip any day. The Azula 2, I've been carrying mostly handle down on my right hand, off hand side, right at that 3 o'clock position, and I freaking love it there. I love having a handle down knife there. Something I noticed when you're listening to YouTube videos, you hear somebody say like knife or wow or something weird like that, and you're like, man, you have a weird accent, must be where you live. When you're recording these things, I'm telling you, some weird stuff comes out of your mouth, and if I had to edit it all, I'd be here all day. So yeah, you're gonna hear some weird stuff. If you're ever wondering how I managed to put some weird spins and twangs on words that I shouldn't, that is how and why. YouTube is a weird thing. This Milspy Elite that I just pulled out while I was rambling about that is another knife that I like carrying in that handle down position. You got to be able to trust the sheath if you're going to have that carry. You definitely don't want to lose the knife or say jump over an obstacle or something like that. Have the knife fall out of the sheath and then have you fall on top of the knife. That wouldn't be good. We don't want that. Any practicality or benefit of the carry will be offset if you stab yourself and die. But the Azula 2 sheath, very trustworthy, at least if you have it clamped down tightly on those bottom screws and you don't have the inside, those little plastic retention bumps, I guess we'll call them. So long as they're in good shape, as long as this is tied down tight, extremely reliable sheath. I have had one fall out in my more worn down sheath, and I had to hunt for it about a week and a half in the woods on a fire export a couple years ago. Got really lucky, found the Azula after, about 10 days of sitting in the dirt under a pile of brush. So lucky there, but very much make sure the sheath is tight, because you can lose those freaking Azulas or any other knife if your sheath gets loose. I never had that problem since, and always made sure it was tight. You can put some blue Loctite in there to make sure it's tight, and the Milspy Elite in these top sheaths, I have no complaints whatsoever and no doubt that's staying in there. Super impressed with this. There's going to be another tops knife in my life this year. Just wait and see. That video is going to come out shortly too. So just going to give you a quick look at what else I carry on my person as far as keys, wallet, pen, that kind of stuff. The last EDC update that I did like this was probably a year and a half ago or so. It was before I joined the military at least. And I think I had bought my first Chums Wallet, or my second Chums Wallet by then, but I know I was rocking a green one at first. That one broke, bought a new one, haven't had any issues with it since. Gideon's Tactical had reviewed this and mentioned it in his EDC videos. Gideon's Tactical's like kind of similar in the stuff he carries and likes. We have very similar taste in knives. Ordered that off Amazon for like 22 bucks Canadian or something like that. And like I said, I overdid it with that first one and busted a zipper, broke that. Found the limits. Definitely there is a limit with these, and if you jam it right to the max full of cards and cash, you can bust a zipper. It's $20. Other than that, super, super durable for what it is. I am terrible with my stuff, guys, and I beat the crap out of everything, and I have not managed to tear or rip this one yet. You can see there's a little bit of a little key ring there if you want to attach it to anything or attach something to this wallet, like a little extra key or whatever. I've got my meal card for the mess in there, along with any kind of little paperwork or anything inside of that little outside sleeve. One with all my payment cards and that kind of stuff. The other one's got my Mill ID, my license, firearms license, and all that other stuff underneath. But of course, I've got the Randall's Adventure trading card, which you get a couple of these little SE survival card tip things with any SE knife that you purchase, as far as I'm aware anyways. But Chums Wallet, big fan of that one. 20 bucks, super highly recommended. Okay, on my keys, I've got the Kershaw PT1. Is that the right acronym for that? God, it's been a while. Yeah, somebody correct me or correct myself maybe in the comments, but that's the Kershaw Pry Tool 01 and 2, I believe. PT1, PT2, I'm pretty sure is the acronyms. $15 and $20 or something in those price ranges, maybe a little bit less. Just a small little chisel-y pry tool on each of these. The PT2 being a little bit larger, has different hex heads on the inside, and a few different tools and driver options and stuff like that. A few bit less on this, but still, you got a little flathead, a big flathead, and of course, even smaller Phillips head, kind of, on that tip of there. Anyways, bottle openers, and more than anything for me, just an extra pry bar, or maybe, I don't know, using keys and stuff as weapons is kind of ridiculous if you don't know how to fight, but if you do know how to throw a jab, I kind of think maybe, I think I might rather have that. Yeah, I can get a good handful of key there. And, ooh, baby you. Anyways, not a weapon, not the intent of it, just saying makeshift coyote defense survival weapon thing. Anyways, Canadian laws are awesome. So those are the PT1 and 2 Kershaw tools. There's better pry tools. I'd love to get my hands on a what is that, the Dynamis Combat Flathead. You hear Jack Carr talk about that in those books, and I get a little fangirly over them, but that sounds like a hell of a tool, but it's like $300 or $400 to get it in Canada, and it's a piece of metal screwdriver. So yeah, super cool, maybe a bit expensive for my taste right now. This little $20 pry tool will do the trick. So those keys typically go in my offhand pocket, and clipped to that, I've been carrying Fisher Space Pen. This is the second one I had. Lost the first one during basic training because I pulled something out of my pocket, like a Kleenex or something, to blow my nose, and totally lost that like a dummy. Like, I think the first or second ruck of basic. So I found better places to carry this, but overall, I don't really use it that much because I've had to use blue pen. And since I was able to get one with a blue pen cartridge in it, the black ink would definitely not fly for most military documents I'd be signing. Civvy life in my jeans, carrying it all the time. Every now and then it's come in handy. Nice, especially like if you see somebody like rubbing their face or nose or something, and then they're handing you a pen, like, I'm not super worried as much about like the crazy COVID fanatical stuff, more so that I've always been pretty like germ conscious, and I don't necessarily need to share a bunch of germs with people if I don't have to. Handy to have your own pen. Plus, again, if you ever had to not have a knife on you, say during basic training when I wasn't allowed to have knives the first 4 weeks, this was the most capable thing I had on my person. So still a very solid piece of metal, and that tip will maybe get a little extra penetration. Sometimes I got a Sharpie in there as well, more so inside of my coin pocket. These super sweet Delta 68 Origin jeans. I picked up a couple of years ago. Without a doubt, the Origin products are legit. I think I paid like $240 for those 2 pair of jeans. I don't think I've paid more than $40 for a pair of jeans in my life up to that. Absolutely super worth it. And the coin pocket in these jeans is super deep, and it actually fits like an entire Sharpie or pen or anything like that. So note that those Origin jeans, super deep 5th pocket. Now what we need to do, guys, is we need to pump the Hard On Gear channel enough to Origin that one day we can get sponsored by Origin, because that would be freaking sick. That's the dream. Okay, new goal for the Hard On Gear channel: get sponsored by sweet companies like Origin or Fieldcraft Survival. We're long ways away from that, but hey, it doesn't hurt to dream big, right? Okay, so back right pocket, back left pocket, right side, left. Let's keep this somewhat oriented here so you get an idea where we're at. Lighter, maybe 2, depending on what I'm carrying, but definitely always 1, just to have fire. Maybe I'm smoking something, maybe I'm not, but there's definitely going to be a time and a place when I will want fire, and if I ever get stuck in the woods or stuck on the side of the road and I need heat, I'll be really super happy to have that. Oh, and there, as I'm digging my other pocket out here, the other 2 things you'll typically see me carrying in that back left pocket: a little bit of electrical tape, a little bit of paracord. Started doing that right kind of before I started joining the military, thinking about other things I probably need all the time. While firefighting, this stuff gets used almost more than water. I don't know if it's just a Canadian thing, but if it's everywhere, I wouldn't be surprised. This stuff is super waterproof and just super pliable, and you can do all kinds of crazy things with electrical tape. So big fan. And even a little strip like that, it's super light, barely bugs me at all, barely notice it, but it can come in super handy. Although I might need to replace that one soon. Normally have a little bit more than that, but if you take the core out of it too, makes it even lighter. And again, a little bit of paracord for the same stuff. There was one day, it wasn't, maybe 2 days back to back, when I was going through my DP1 infantry course, when we were doing some of the machine gun stuff with like the C9, the SAW, FN Mini-Me, I believe is the actual model, but yeah, Mini-Me. Yeah, you did hear that right. But anyways, that was one of those times when I actually got to look pretty freaking capable and prepared, because my 2IC, my Master Corporal, kind of instructing the class, he had asked at one point, oh, who's got a knife on them? Okay, great. Here's a knife. Who's got a multi-tool on them? Oh, here you go, Master Corporal. Oh, damn, anyone have some paracord on them? Right here, Master Corporal. And damn, this thing's falling apart. Anyone got any tape on them by chance? You better believe it. So, look like a super nerd, but if you're gonna look like a super nerd, you better be a super nerd that's a big asset and not just a big pain in the ass. So, that was pretty fun that day or 2 that happened. Any of you EDC folks got a similar story like that, or have similar memories of just being way too overprepared and looking like a total loser but being super pumped about it? Let me know down in the comments. Oh, and if you haven't already, don't forget to like the video. Oh, and I just emptied out my pockets. There's literally nothing else in my jeans right now. The last thing that was in there was one little cat tongue guitar pick. So those reds or those purples, which are a little bit thinner, like a 60 mil, I think, are typically the ones I use. Just out of curiosity, any guitar players or musicians in my subscriber basis? Comment down below. Let me know what you play, or if you play anything at all. The more I see the same faces and names down there, the more I kind of get curious as to where you guys are coming from and what your backgrounds are. So yeah, let me know down there. Always curious to kind of get to know more about the audience. But this is the average jean carry. So my pants do look like they have a little bit of extra bulk in them sometimes. ha ha, but this is not really that excessive for me. I don't find it that big of a deal. Whether I'm working or doing other things, I find I typically have stuff on my person to the point where I'm just kind of used to being a little bit clunky. If I don't have things on me, I feel incredibly naked, and while I am a little bit more maneuverable and less likely to have stuff flat in my pockets if I'm on the ground stretching, it definitely is nice to have things when you need them. So the only other stuff I would typically carry on me if I am wearing cargo pants for work, whether that's my military issued stuff or very again soon, like something like a tactical cargo pant like the 511 work pants, or or 511 strike pants rather, or like a Nomex cargo pant like the two-piece that we typically wear for wildfire. They've got those cargo pants, and I will probably be carrying something similar to like what I've been carrying here, which is some kind of a small first aid kit and a tourniquet, which I've only really started doing the last few years because you can only hear Mike Glover and these guys talk about carrying med and tourniquets so much, and how not carrying one is kind of irresponsible if you're trained and have some kind of a medical knowledge and you actually want to be responsible. And if you're going out of your way to carry all this stuff excessively, why would you not carry med on your person? I still need to get better at carrying it on me when I'm just in jeans. I should get a smaller first aid kit, at least something a little bit more pocketable for that kind of situation. And tourniquet holders, I've never really bothered yet. I've never, again, carried the stuff on me on my day-to-day basis unless I'm working and I'm in a situation where I'm more likely to be around some kind of a serious cut or laceration where someone's going to need a tourniquet. Not to say it couldn't be a gunshot wound, crazy things happen, but in Canada it's not as likely or as frequent as some other places. Of course, if I was going to be in a combat situation or in policing or something like that, totally different. But that being said, I would feel like a total piece of shit if I carry this on me sometimes and then didn't have it on me when I needed it. So I am looking at different like hip holsters and ankle holsters and stuff like that to kind of keep this on my person a little bit more often, and I should make an effort and priority to go and pick up a smaller first aid kit. So good thing about these videos is they do force you to be a little more reflective sometimes, and it's hard to be a total hypocrite and talk about this stuff and then not carry it. So making an effort on my part to make that a little bit more of my actual routine, because that is something that I would feel very, very happy about, is if I had this stuff on me and was able to make a difference when that time came. The reverse being, again, like a total piece of shit if I didn't. Work Sharp Field Sharpener. I carry that as well when I can. I used to carry the Lansky Blade Medic a lot more, but once I got used to this thing, anyone who recommended this thing to me before, Budget Guy for Knife and Tools, I know you were definitely one of the guys I seen who got me onto this when you started your channel. It's definitely a step up. It's bigger, it's bulkier, but it's got so much more to offer. It doesn't have a pull-through carbide sharpener, which you don't really need if you know how to sharpen, but if you do get a nasty nick and you don't have some of those skills practiced, you might need something different. If you do know how to sharpen, this is the ticket for field sharpening. If there's a better one out there, let me know in the comments. I'd love to find out about it. One that I found out about recently, which is more of a carbide sharpener for not nice knives. I would never use this on like a nicer steel or something I didn't want to tear up. But if you're going to use it on like a lawnmower blade or a pair of scissors or a straight cutter like I've been using it on, the Speedy Sharp, which is a cool little carbide sharpener that fits in pretty much any pocket, about 20 bucks. A little expensive for the size of it, but believe me, this thing is pretty freaking cool and strips steel like you wouldn't believe. Again, don't use it on your nice knives, but to have these two in combination, you could pretty much fix any blade. But that is officially it. There is no more room in my pockets. Even with the cargo pants, like that is about the max of what I'm getting in my pants without my pants falling down, or else me having to put my belt on so tight that I can't breathe. So is this excessive? Is this a little crazy? I could probably carry 2 or 3 more knives on me, don't you think? I was thinking, like, if I'm carrying this appendix carry lately, by the way, the Azula 2, I switched the sheath around, so I've got it back in my old position in the front of my waist, handle to the left, super quick and easy to draw with either hand. Sorry, camera, keep bumping you, my bad. But if I carry that there, I could carry the Tops Mill Spy Elite handle down on my right side, Tor Anaconda on my left. I could probably scout carry something else on my back. Neck knives. Yeah, there's still plenty of room for growth, guys. I apologize for not living up to the expectations. The 10 ways to carry a fixed blade video, the most popular hog video, by the way. That one really blew up last year. That's super cool. A few people misinterpreted that. Same thing with the short version of that video, and they think I carry 10 freaking knives on me like that, like around my waist, like 10 fixed blades. That is a little ridiculous. If anyone does carry that many fixed blades or think it is a little ridiculous for me to be judging them for doing so, again, I'm always so curious to know what you guys are doing. Whether I agree with it or would totally do it myself or not, it's interesting to see what kind of knife nerds I've got following my channel. Again, thanks for checking this one out. Like, subscribe, notification bells, all kinds of things like that. If you want to support the channel, that really is the best way to do it. Aside from that, go check out the other hog videos. There's going to be a couple popping up probably on the side panel of this video right here. See you on those ones or next week's video. This is the Hard On Gear channel, signing off.